Hello, I'm Mike Kerner, Eagle Communications Television and for Hayes Post. And with me today, Donna Maskus. And this show that you're watching here today is a little bit about the upcoming election, which is coming up Tuesday, November 8th. Is that the day, Donna?
You bet.
And you guys have been really busy already at the county clerk's office, haven't you?
Definitely. I was just sharing with you, Mike, earlier that we have 17% turnout already.
Wow,
and that's ballots mailed out and people coming into the office and voting.
Is that a dramatic increase?
Presidential, we see an increase. I don't know for advanced voting if it is, but it is busier when it's a presidential election.
Well, one of the reasons why I asked Donna to come by and do this special general election show with me today is because there's a lot of people out there, they'll go to the polling place and they'll look at the ballot and they get in there and they don't always recognize everything on there to vote for. One of them I'll get to here in a moment is the Supreme Court justices, not Supreme Court, but the Kansas Supreme Court justices. And we see those signs around town too, and I'd like to know if we can maybe describe that a little bit and maybe give some people an idea what that's all about, but we'll get to that in a little bit. One of the other things that I did not know about till you shared this with me yesterday, I've got sample ballots, which are pink, but the regular ballots are white.
Right.
And then there's also the electronic ballots as well.
Yes.
I did not realize in Ellis County you have about 30 ballots.
You have 35.
I was 35. I was thinking about going through all of these ballots, but going through 35 ballots is going to take quite a long time. But so let's just maybe go through some of the general stuff and talk to people and let them know what to expect, which will help them be a little bit smoother when they go and I guess just informing the public. And I know you guys like to inform the public about what's going on too.
Definitely. I appreciate that, Mike. Of course, we start out, everybody knows it's presidential election this time. And I was just sharing with you that there are 21 filings that have to take place at the Kansas Secretary of State's office for official write-ins that can be tabulated for the president write-in for that office, president and vice president. And we have a copy of it, so if anybody's interested in it, they can come by at 718 Main and come to the county clerk's office, and we'd be glad to share those names.
So on the president, vice president list of, well, additional list of the ones besides the ones that are on there now, there's 21 other write-ins.
That Kansas will recognize as official tallies. Now, I will share with you, we have an abstract book that is a permanent record of all votes taken in Ellis County, and definitely anything if Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse gets a vote, it's going to be tallied in our official abstract book.
So that's something that we can do. So if you don't want to choose one of the what four, is it four candidates up for president or vice president right now? If you don't want to choose one of the members, you could always do your write-ins too. Then we move on to a lot of other stuff that people will see on the ballot. Depending on their district, though, there's some county commissioners out there that are up for election, and sometimes they're unopposed.
That is true. We have District 2 and District 3 county commission districts that are up this time. First District, which Marcy McClellan is currently in that position, she'll be up in 2 years. But the other two positions, because it's a 4-year term, is up this year. They had competition in the primary election in August, and they won that, and there's no one on the other party that filed or independent that had filed.
And so there's no opposition. And who are those two members?
Okay, on 2nd District, that's Barbara K. Wassinger, and Dean Hazelhorse is our 3rd County Commission District representative.
So that's a couple of the ballots we might see out there. And then there's also, I guess, some of the little communities you hear of that are out there in Ellis County, which have a lot of different things that people might see as well. What's some of that stuff?
Okay,
that they may
unique
see?
to me this year is the legislature, the Kansas legislature, changed the procedures of city elections, because all elections will now be held in November. And we're used to city school elections being held in like the April of the odd year after the primary and general. So we're seeing Ellis City has chosen for their election of city council will be this election. So they'll get a vote. They have 7 candidates that have filed for 3 positions on the ballot. Wow. So it makes it unique for them because they have campaigning going on because there's a lot of interest in those positions.
Now, we also will see on the ballot, I think everybody throughout the state of Kansas will see this on the ballot, and we see signs around the community too for the Supreme Court justices, that is the Kansas Supreme Court justices. What is that all about? I know that there's a retain or not retain.
Right.
So what happens in that case?
Well, it's a yes or no if you wish each judge with their position, if you wish to retain him.
Okay.
It's a yes or a no.
So it's not all of them as a combined, it's each individual.
Yes.
Okay.
Right, right. So, everybody has to make their choice there. It can be yes, no, or I say if they aren't sure, if they don't want to vote, they don't have to vote. Voters do not realize sometimes that they don't have to vote on an office if they're not comfortable with that office. That is up to each voter how they vote, because that's their votes, their choice.
It's funny you say that. When I was younger and learning how to vote and doing voting early in my career, or early in my life, I thought I had to fill in every blank. But because you're, I guess, used to that, filling in every blank at school on the tests. But if there's something you feel uncomfortable about or you don't want to vote for them, you can leave it blank.
Right, and their ballot still counts. I still have people ask that because they feel like if they don't vote for everything, then the ballot will not be tabulated, and that is not true. It's just whatever that individual voter chooses to vote for.
Now, when they go in and do the electronic vote, which is a little bit different than the paper ballot, does it flag them one? Because sometimes you get that check mark that shows up on the screen. Does it flag them that you have not voted for this? Do you want to continue?
Right. Kansas, the state of Kansas has second chance voting, and what that means, it reviews all of your votes, all of the offices that are on the ballot. It shows, and you can still change your vote at that time. You can deselect and put in a choice for another candidate. You can do a write-in. It'll take you to a screen where you'll have to key in the name that you wish to write in, and then you'll go back to the ballot and it will show how you've keyed that name in. But you review all of that, and I always tell voters be very cautious, because if you feel like that you hit an office that did not get tallied properly, I want to know that, and because their vote needs to be their vote, their choices.
Now, I know you've had a lot of training sessions over the last week, 2 weeks, or maybe months, and getting people ready to help out at the different precincts. Is it the normal precincts that people go to vote at?
It sure is, yes. And if they have any questions at all, they can always call our office at 628-9410, or come and visit our office at 718 Main.
All right, so it's a typical staff that we see when we go in. Just make sure that everybody brings their ID.
Oh, that's so important, the voter ID, yes.
Is there any other rules or any things that people need to know to maybe make this a little bit smoother for them that you could recommend?
I appreciate you bringing that up. One thing, we ask that they do not bring a cell phone, and that can distract other voters as they're voting. So that's just respect of other people that are voting.
So if they're bringing a cell phone with them, maybe they'd get off work for a break or something like that, they want to come by and vote, would you recommend them keep it in the car, or would you have a place for them to set it while they go do the voting?
Just so they turn it off.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's not a distraction.
Oh, okay.
So, right. And just follow the directions. We have a sign there that gives them some direction. Another thing is no electioneering is allowed 250 feet from the entrance to the poll site. And that's like a football field, so there shouldn't be any signs out there. Or as I'm voting, I shouldn't be wearing a button, a hat, a shirt that might, influence a voter.
And so, do you watch for that? Do you have staff that watch for that? Now, let's talk about your volunteers. How do you go about getting all these volunteers every time?
It's getting more of a challenge, and the challenge is because when the voter registers, that a lot of times they do not wish to share information like their telephone number, then we do not have that contact, and it does make it challenging to find people. But we have a great bunch. We have over 60 volunteers that help with every election.
You know, one of the other things that I noticed the other day when I was by your office, people were calling into your office and they were asking to confirm if they are registered to vote. So if somebody has a question about it, maybe they don't remember if they voted the last time around, or if they did, they may not even be qualified to vote. They just call your office and find out?
That's great, yes. We want them to do that. Because if you are registered somewhere else in the county under another name or another address, you still are qualified to vote. You're just going to vote what we call a provisional ballot. and that allows you to fill out a new registration card to update your voter information. You'll do a paper ballot, you'll pull it in an envelope, and the Board of County Commissioners are our board of canvassers, and the canvass will take place at the Commission Chambers on November the 14th at 5 o'clock. And they will review those votes that were voted. Maybe I came in and I didn't have my ID, my voter ID, but I wanted to vote then and there. I have the opportunity to bring that ID to our election office at 718 Main, but it has to be done before 4 p.m. on November the 14th. And then their ballot still could be counted. But if they don't come in, that ballot's never opened.
Very good. So you have a lot of volunteers that help count both the ballots, and there's going to probably be, from early indications, a lot of people voting this time around. When do you typically finish that up or wrap it up, or does it depends?
That's hard to say, Mike, because and in my trainings we've had 4 different classes of our election board workers, and you know, we stress that make sure they lock the door at 7 p.m. But the voters come into the building, and if they have to wait past that, they still will be allowed to vote. Now, if I'm outside the door banging at 7:15, it's too late. And another thing I'd like to stress is if you get an advance ballot in the mail, that ballot has to be in our office by 7 p.m. election night to be counted.
Okay, didn't know that either.
Yeah,
So
that's important.
Yes, a lot of rules there to remember, and a lot of now. If there's somebody out there that want to start seeing these election results, they trickle in and we start seeing them. Where would be a good website for somebody to go see these?
Our county website is Ellis, ELLISCO.net. They can get on that and we'll have them there. They can certainly call us, or they can come and join us.
Okay.
Come to the Administration Center at 718 Main, and we have chairs set up there as the entrance, and we'll be glad to share results as they come in.
Well, I know in the years past I would go to the state. There's a state website, and I would go there. And do you report those immediately to the state as well?
Yes, certainly. And of course, everything's unofficial election night until we do the canvass.
And when does that happen?
The canvass is at November 14th
Okay.
at the commission meeting.
So all unofficial till the 14th.
That's correct.
All right. Anything else you want to share?
Well, some people question, why didn't I get a vote for, let's say, the state representatives? In Ellis County, we have 2 state representatives, 110th and 111th. You have to live in that district just like the commission to vote on that district. So, check with the board workers. They'll have maps there. It clearly shows what those divisions are on those districts. And if they have questions, of course, they can call our office.
Yep. See, so people may be out there and they see a sign, but it may not be on their ballot because it may not be it may be out of their area.
And that happens.
That happens a lot. Well, thank you very much. And again, if people have any need for information, they can look at your website or give you a call. And the number at the office is?
628-9410.
Well, thank you for coming and clarifying some of this stuff up for us, because I know a lot of people have a lot of questions and you getting them all day down there.
We're glad to answer them.
Plus, you have a line out there, it seems like every day anymore, people doing the advance voting.
Yeah, last week we had over 200 in the office each day voting.
Wow.
So that's great. It's encouraging. I want everybody to get out and vote.
That's phenomenal, and I appreciate people getting out and voting. So thank you very much. It's Donna Maskus, Ellis County Clerk, and also election official. I should say that, the other title that you have too. And we wanted to kind of do this special election forum just to inform you of what's going on this election season. Donna Maskus, Mike Kerner, thanks for being with us.